Terry, welcome to the program. Let me start with this. Now, are you a Sooners fan, a Cowboys fan? I mean, where are we at here on your collegiate alliance?
We're diehard Sooners fan.
All right. Well, how do you feel about your Sooners going into this weekend? I've got to start with that.
Well, I feel like the offense is where it needs to be. Our defense, we just got to work on it. I feel like we need to basically need to see what we need to do to get Kelly back on the field, because our linebacker core only feels like we got one out there.
You know, it's funny, Terry, you bring that up when you talk about the linebackers. We had Dante Jones on the show just a little bit earlier, former OU great and consistent All-American 1987, played professional with Chicago Bears at the linebacker position. So I'm going to lean towards his expertise a little bit more to myself. He certainly brought it up. He thought Murray's doing it, pretty well, but thought that he instinctively right now lacking a little bit. Obviously, for you, when you look at your accomplishments as a youth coach, you've certainly been involved in, and just for the record, it's the OKC Spartans Elite. Make sure we put the elite because they're very dynamic and very powerful part of the YBI and Oklahoma Elite Football League here in Oklahoma City. Tell us a little bit about just why you got involved, Terry, and what inspired you to continue to give back to the youth in this community in the way you do.
Well, when I started this when we were 6, my son was just 5, and he was over there with Coach Diamond with Southside Titans. That next year I came back and I ended up helping Coach. I kind of got in it to see my son grow a little bit. But, as you take part in these young men's lives, you can't be out there giving your time and not feel some type of way towards these kids, man. And, my group of boys, I just learned to love those dudes, man. And as if you hear me talk or say anything, everything I say is my boys, because that's how I really feel about those kids, man. I love my group of dudes, my group of guys. I just want to see them do the best. I want to give them everything I possibly can, but, it's more, not just football to us, man. It's more about building better young men and letting them know that, hey, everything is possible. As long as you put in the hard work and the time, anything is possible, So that's what it's been about for me, Not so much as the trophies, man. It's kind of like, it's just icing on top of the cake, man. The thing that makes me happy is knowing that every kid on my team right now, we have not one kid that has a C on this report card. That makes me happy, Those kids putting in the time and knowing that what it takes to make it to the next level, and teaching them that, hey, you got to be a student athlete first before we can even talk about football, So that's what it's been back to me. I'm giving back to the community and trying to be a positive role model and touch, just any kid's life. So my group, my coaching staff, we believe in it strongly. Hey, we're always first to congratulate anybody, and hey, we always try to tell these coaches, man, that hey, we appreciate what they do, because at the end of the day, nobody's getting paid for this, and we're all just trying to get the best out of these kids and give them something that might have went wrong in our lives and try to change it and fix it in theirs before they make that mistake.
Terry, give me a little insight as to what kind of offense are you guys running? What could people expect to see with the OKC Spartans Elite?
Well, right now our base core offense that our bread and butter kind of like is that wishbone, a double tight wishbone. We get out there, we kind of ground and pound team, but hey, we also got kids that came on and we done groomed him up, and now we done actually got in a little spread wing tee, and actually a 4 wide receiver set too. So just kind of depends on the feel of the game and where we need to go with it.
When you talk about offensively, certainly, I know you don't like to brag, or certainly the trophies are, as you mentioned, not what it's all about, but you certainly got plenty, and you've certainly accomplished a lot as an organization. Just tell us a little bit about some of those key players, Terry, that you have on the offensive side of the ball that obviously, or anyone, I mean, it doesn't matter, whether it's the lineman, anybody you want to kind of at this time give them a quick shout out and give them their time to shine here on the radio.
Okay, offense side of the ball, one of the kids that's been real big for us this year. You know, we had to change his position from running back to receiver to now he's our quarterback. And the kid had a touchdown or two every game for us. Mr. John Muir West been real big for us. As you know, the quarterback is the heartbeat of the team. So without him, it's kind of hard to get anything up. He stepped into that role. He took it all heads on and been running with it. I feel the best football backfield in Little League 11U. As you speak, I have a kid and a Corey Durham, and Caden Durham, which is also the fastest kid in the nation at his age group, that he went out there in the Junior Olympics this year and ran 11.9, 10 and 100. So I have the fastest kid, and I have probably one of the most shiftiest, hard running backs that you ever seen in Terry Simmons Jr., actually my son. And I added on this kid, fullback this year. That's probably about, I'd say about 150, 160, and he's been a boozer for us too. Defense side of the ball, man, we've only gave up one touchdown this year. Was actually the coach's fault. We only had 10 kids on the field. So, but other than that, my defense, they haven't gave us a solid touchdown out there. Got a kid in, let me get his name right, Jay Sean. I feel like Jay Sean, this little kid is every bit of like 80 pounds soaking wet, but I promise you there's nobody out there that can hit harder than that kid. Man, we're just a solid group all the way around. I have so many kids I can just name, and a Matthew Evans that's been real big for us on the D-line that nobody can stop. A kid that we brought on in a CJ Curtis, and he's just been lights out. This kid never played any position but a lineman. And this year he's playing defensive end, and this kid has got over 10 catching touchdowns already on the season. And God, Mr. Gianni Desmond, you know, I have so many kids that's out there that's just rocking out, man. Like, it's just a joy being around these little dudes.
Terry, tell us a little bit about, obviously you mentioned your team certainly sitting at the top of the OEFL YBI Football League, which is in, arguably I could say, and you could echo this, certainly the toughest football league in the metro area in terms of competition. And you're right, you've scored 110 points thus far and only allowed 6 right now. But talk about, Terry, if you could, some of your other coaches who, and any parent you feel, families out there that has certainly put in and help you build these teams and get these kids to where they are. When you talk about not only the on-the-field accomplishments, which we'll get to in a minute, but also, as you mentioned, you got no kid on your team, on your roster, that's sitting below a C average. And as I know well, had some kids that are currently in it through my program and my own kids, you're right. You have to be a student athlete until you hit the professional ranks and you're getting a check. It's all about school first. Talk about some of the coaches and some of the other people who have been a big part helping you get this Spartan League program to where it is.
Okay, first coach I'll tell you about is my line coach, Darrell Dozier, and he's been so big for us, man. He's built this line from ground up. He's had kids come and go out through, and the time he puts in, he works for the city. He's speeding out there. Everything after he gets off of work, give these kids the time they need. Our other coach, actually, Samaj, he helps with that line too. He does a big part. My other coach, line, defensive end, / linebacker coach, Mr. John Reese West, and big action in him. We started this thing together and stick with the tight. So that's been kind of real solid guys, real big part of what we're doing, everything else. And, you know, my main guy, Coach Kramer. Coach Kramer, man. Coach Kramer's been everything to me. As you know, for the last 4 years, 5 years going on now, every year I've had a surgery on my knee. So I've been either out there in the wheelchairs, the crutches, a walker. And Coach Kramer, man, he's always been my rock. Been the one, he knows offense, he knows defense. If I'm not there, he takes care of everything. He picks up kids every day. And he doesn't have a kid on the team. That's what makes it so special. So you know it's hard. Definitely there for the team. So, you know, you can't mention the Spartan without mentioning Coach Kramer with his answer. What he is to this program and to us is real big. He's always there and always count on him. So, you know, my coaching group, I have extremely great parents. I mean, anything that we want to do, anything we're on board to do, they come together. We do it as a family. We started an organization and a team, but later on we became family. Learned how to bond. And, you know, it's just not so far as just out there with football. It's life. They know they got somebody they can depend on and lean on at times if you need us. So, you know, try to keep it real tight where we at. And I tell them, like, if you want the kids to be brothers, then you have to be family yourself, too. So we try to practice what we preach around here as Spartan Nation.
Terry, we certainly appreciate you taking out the time, not just to join us, but it's awesome to hear your dedication to the young men and the fact that you put a great emphasis in the classroom. I'll tell you what, that's going to pay off. In the long road, that's going to be the biggest thing, even way bigger than football, that's going to impact those young men. So that's really awesome to hear, and certainly appreciate the time. But before we let you go, you said you're a Sooners fan, so I need a score prediction for the game, a precise score prediction from you. As each guest we have on this week, we're having to make sure we get the score predictions tallied up.
Okay, I wanna just say something outrageous because I'm a diehard Sooner fan, but I'm thinking, let's go 24-14, Sooners.
Okay. All right. 14. Very good.
I feel like
that's not outrageous, Terry. Vision basically finished second, but could have won that one as well too. And he's got a lot of talent. You know, these are the guys, Matt, that you'll see in the upcoming years that'll be on the stages, whether it's a basketball court, which where you'll cover, so because there's some athletes in his organization and on his teams, or we'll see them certainly on Friday nights tearing it up on the football field. So the future stars, and as he said, getting them academically in position to know the importance of that. Man, it's awesome to hear that. It's great that we take the time and to acknowledge those people out there doing that. Take a quick break right here in the Power Hour. When we come back, we'll continue some sports talk as we'll get into Major League Baseball. Yankees and A's coming up tonight. We'll talk about that and much more when we get back here, right here on Oklahoma City CBS Sports Radio.